Hello, it's Duty Paid here, and today I have a Oliver Courier typewriter. Now, with the make Oliver, there was two Couriers. There was one dating right back to the 1930s, I believe, and then they produced this one before their demise, around about the late 1950s, the Oliver Courier. They didn't actually produce this one. It was actually made a sort of generic brand. Now, quite a few manufacturers actually rebranded, but they kind of, well, I wouldn't say made it their own. I think maybe the colours and a few other options, but need to sort of check on that. And this one is in not particularly bad order. I have cleaned it fully. You may notice that the platen is completely missing. That's because I have taken it out to try to get a little bit more rubber into it, because this machine, by the serial number, is from 1958. So what's that, 50, oh god, you know, good few number of years, 56 years now, 57 years, something like that. My maths deceived me. So the roller was particularly hard, which two things: doesn't allow the paper to feed in, it will just roll on the paper. And secondly, the type is particularly, it's just slamming into a hard roller. It needs to be slightly forgiving. To remove a roller on these, it's all pretty simple. It comes on this rod and you undo the screw, and there's a secondary screw on the roller that needs to be clamped down just onto the recess. So what I'm going to do is reattach the roller now and show you what I did, hopefully, to recondition it. Now, what I've been using is this 3-in-1 professional silicone lubricant. Apparently it contains the sort of ingredients in it to re-rubberize hard rubber. It's a sort of, not sort of petrochemical. I'm not actually sure what silicone is in the sense of sort of chemistry, or where it's actually from. I believe it's man-made instead of petrochemical. But this one's suitable for rubber and so forth. I've tried a little bit. I left it in for only about half hour and it did improve the texture. So what I've done is I've got this sealed container, not airtight sealed, I just didn't want any sort of silicone leaking out or getting messy. And in here, a couple of plastic bags, and they contain the pattern, or pattern. So I've already got some kitchen roll handy. It does get a little bit, I don't think silicone's too bad for the skin, but you want to avoid body bathing in it. That's weird, there's a little bit of black coming off there. So what I understand is it won't repair any cracks in the rubber, or if it's particularly too old, like I have a 100-year-old Oliver Platen, which is just like granite. So need to dry the silicone off, but it does feel a little bit more rubbery. It gives it a lovely high gloss black finish. The little feed rollers in the sort of paper part, I gave them a spray. They would have been hard to remove by other means. See, that's the little screw that actually holds the pattern onto the roller. It's quite a simple construction. Means you can change these fairly fast, I suppose, back in the day, a repairman, in case it was damaged. It does feel slightly rubbery. Hasn't got that sort of fresh rubber. I was working on a Brother AX425 the other week, and it was only 10 years old, and the rubber roller was still rubbery, but that noise is quite satisfactory. So you get the silicone off. Once you've given it a good rub, it will take a little bit of the sort of black off, but then it will actually dry pretty clean. Now, I have seen people use videos of people using oil and so forth, which I haven't tried. I have the silicone on hand, so I thought I'd try with this machine. Just remove the top cover. Had to give this machine a full clean. It was incredibly dirty, and I've replaced some of the key return springs that were just fanning slightly. The little cork bits fell apart, which I needed to replace. I'll probably replace them. I've got little sort of felt rubbers, so you can do this without needing to remove the carriage. A little tricky. So first thing is just move this back. Find the end, and the end is the little, has a little recess here, and that's so the screw can grip. And I found you need to pass it from right to left. I thought it was the other way round at first and just jammed, but so just remove a little screw at the end and the knob comes off. And that's got a recess for the knob that side. This one, when it came, had two metal washers just on the left. I suppose there should be one either end. I'm not sure if this machine has had a lot of type. I got it off from eBay, and it wasn't working when I got it from eBay, and the woman who sold it was cleaning out her father's home, and it was one of the items he had, and he bought it new in around about 1958, and it came with some paperwork with it, and the last letter was dated 1979, so that's 20 years odd. So it's got the cogged end one side and this end, and that ends up in here. Now, don't know if you can see on the video, there should be just a paper correction, or not correction, a advance. So as you can see, it doesn't actually roll at the moment. It gets pulled back, so just test it. Take the little knob there, and there's just a flat side. So you just want to line up the flat side with a screw. Oh. Just put back on the two metal washers beforehand. Don't know why they were there. Normally when I take machines apart, sometimes they have been serviced by someone else or taken apart by someone else and put back together. So normally before I take a machine apart, I will fully test it and make any notes if something doesn't work, then investigate it. But if I test the machine and it is working all right, okay, but dirty and just needs a clean, I will normally put it back together how that was working. So as you can see, the roller doesn't roll at the moment, but luckily the two screws here line up with the corresponding flat points on the roller. So let's tighten that down. And that roller moves nice and free now. So just test the operation. and make sure everything works in the 3 roller here. So that's 1 space, 2, 3. Now grab a sheet of paper. Now this is 80 grams, which is a bit modern actually. These sort of typewriters were never sort of made for sort of modern paper. There we go. Ah, look. It's a little bit reluctant still. Well, it is 50 years old. But that is actually pulling through a lot better and more equally. So if you just remove the paper release. When I first tried this machine, you put the paper in and you're just rolling. It was not doing anything. It wasn't pulling through. And when I sort of read on the internet, there used to be companies that could re-rubberize, re-cover your platen. That'd be the Ames in America. I believe there's still a couple of companies in America that will do the service for how much money, and also as I'm in the UK to send it all the way to America, which would take about a week at least, possibly 2, and then for them to do the service and send it back. I'm behind, and I use this silicone spray just as a test really, and I left it upright in the bag, and I did notice that the right hand side was actually pulling the paper. It pulled it through a bit wonky, but it would actually pull it through. So that's why I put it in a bag, laid it flat in that box so no silicone would leak out anywhere onto the carpet or anything. And I left that now for, I would say, just over 48 hours. It's a thing you want to spray into the bag. If you spray into a bag, do it outside because it all wafts back out. Spray it into a bag, roll it round, spray again, roll it round. Make sure it's clean from the dust and so forth. Threw it in a bag, forgot about it. Well, not forgot about it, but got on with other things. So, that does seem a lot better. Let's try that again. So put the paper in. Now I'm not holding the paper, just pushing the paper. And that is a marked improvement actually. I wouldn't say it's factory fresh, but when I come to sell this machine, someone won't be sitting there with just trying to roll the paper around and round. Whether to leave it longer in silicone, I don't know if that will be beneficiary. If it didn't do enough in 48 hours, would it do and more in, 76 hours or 76 hours? 96 hours, 240s, 248s. Would it do more in 2 months? Now, if you've got an old roller that you can, or old platen that you can remove, this is 100% silicone, rapid drying as well, which I don't know if there's different. I'm sure there's different grades of silicone. This is made by WD-40 company. It says it's safe to use on what does it say? Sliding rails, hinges, catches, valves, runners, levers, pulleys, fan, casters, electrical and electronic devices, gardening tools, marine equipment, hand tools, power tools, plus many more uses. Oh, here we go. Specially formulated for use on all metal, non-metal surfaces, including plastic, wood, rubber and vinyl. So, probably best to check the can or ask to make sure it's not to dissolve the rubber away and all you end up with a metal tube. But that is actually quite good. I haven't got a ribbon in here at the moment. So if we turn it to stencil in the middle, modern set. Yeah. The machine was a little bit chopped up. 5/8. I don't know what it is with 5/8, but that's always stuck on me. So that's my Oliver Courier from 1958, which just needs a... Well, it has the case with it, which is another video, which I will show you. And I will ponder what to do with that, whether to repair it and so forth. But there we go. One Courier from 1958. It's a nice typewriter. So that is the Oliver Courier. I am the duty paid. Take care and goodbye.